Good morning. John Gilkison, Aerostealth here. Today is Tuesday, and it is June 6th, 2023. And I wanted to shoot a quick video this morning on a blog I just wrote entitled An Electric Vehicle for Your Kitchen. And recently we just had an induction stove installed, and we took our gas stove out of the house. And, well, right there it is. And I don't want to get into the weeds very deeply on this, but essentially we had to have an electrician come out and install a 40 amp service behind the stove in order to make this happen. That ended up costing us $650. But we believe it's a good investment over the long term. With the stove was $1,700 all total, and we spent another $200 on this range hood up here. Okay, and another couple $100 on some induction pots and pans. So all total, we were about $2,700 in on this new stove. But we wanted to reduce our carbon footprint some more, and my best calculations right now show that we've reduced it by 700 to 800 pounds a year of CO2 emissions. Also, and people don't talk about this a lot, but having a gas stove inside of your house probably doubles the CO2 levels inside of your house. You may be noticing, change the subject here, but I got quite a bit of redness right here. And all the installation work we did out on the porch. Recently, because of the warm weather, we've had an invasion of gnats, and got bit around the eyes a bit. And but swelling's going down. It's getting a lot better. So anyway, back to the stove. The stove's a Samsung. And I know you're not going to be able to see it too well because it's just an all black surface. But it has, right here is an 11-inch burner. And there's a small 6-inch burner back here and two 7-inch burners. So, and the oven itself is pretty large oven. And it's, of course, just an electric oven. And it also has an air fryer, and it is a convection oven, and self-cleaning, of course. So I'm not the primary cook in the house here, but it is induction cooking is faster. It's definitely cleaner. It's easier to keep the stove clean. Gas stoves are really hard to keep clean. And generally you don't. They stay greasy most of the time. And it's faster and has better controls. So I'll leave it at that. But part of this project was to take the gas stove and put it out on the kitchen porch right outside that door over there. And the reason for that is my wife cans, as you can see, some canned tomatoes down there. And we really don't want to have a large canner full of water weighing 30-40 pounds sitting on a glass top stove, even if it is ceramic, and can hold a weight. All you'd have to do is drop it one time and you're done. Um, and we wanted to get the heat out of the house. That's another thing about induction cooking. It's so much more efficient. It's like 90% efficient. So there's a lot less heat that's introduced into your house. Gas stove's only about 40% efficient, and the rest of the heat goes up around the pan and into the house. So while we're canning, it's going to be done outdoors, and so this is a good use for that gas stove. And it's a minor use compared to all the cooking we do. So let me go out there and show this to you. No, 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 no. Got a dog's trying to get out. No, no. Okay, it's morning, so it's kind of bright out here. But here's the old gas stove. You may be able to see it. I'm having trouble seeing my screen. There we are. And it's what we did out here, and we had to do it because it's just hard. We have a grill out here also, charcoal grill, and it's hard to grill out here because of the winds all the time, constant winds coming around the house one way or another. So we put up this fencing. It's 6 foot high on two sides here. It creates an alcove, and it'll block the winds when it's coming from the south. And the winds predominantly here come out of the west, so this is facing east here. This is facing south. So west is the opposite side of the house. So we do get some air that bleeds around the house. But other than that, this should really make this a lot more usable space. So it took a couple days to install all these fences. It was more work than I thought. And down there you can see that yellow line. That's the gas line. And I had to hook up 2 gas lines, and getting all the fittings wasn't easy. Of course, now that I've done it, it'll be a lot easier. So there you have it. We also put in a workbench out here. You can see canning jars on it and such, and places to set pans and so forth. There's gnats out here right now. I'm going to get back in the house. So we're pleased with this whole setup, and we have an electric vehicle for our kitchen, and it's probably reduced our cost over propane by about $160 a year, which translates to about $12 a month. So obviously $2,700 to install all this stuff is not going to pay. The cost savings isn't the primary reason to do it. Our gas stove was 25 years old, so we did need a new one. And also, for every 4 watts of energy that we eliminate from cooking, 1 watt is reduced for the air conditioning load on the house. That's part of that $160 a year calculation I told you about. So that's all good, and I don't have precise figures on my propane use for cooking because it's not metered separately. But what I've done is, when we installed the stove, I took a meter reading on the propane tank, and I have a previous reading that ran for 105 days. I used 50 gallons over 105 days. And now that I've taken the gas stove out, and I've just taken a meter reading when we installed the stove, on September 8th I can take another reading and it'll be 105 days elapsed. And then all I have to do is subtract that amount from the 50 gallons, and that'll generally tell me how much the stove was using. Now, that's the best I can say. It's a really good proxy reading. At the current time, all I'm doing is using a 1/3 estimate. We have a clothes dryer and a water heater, and we had a gas stove on our propane. And so I was just using the figure that the gas stove used 1/3 of the propane. So we'll see this September exactly, not exactly, but roughly what the gas stove really was using. And I can come up with some new numbers at that time. So I'm going to close it here. I know everyone's situation is different, but you can actually get a Samsung induction stove for as little as $1,200–1,300. So if you're in the market for a new stove, definitely consider it. They even make adapter plates that you can set on the elements. Will allow you to use any pan that you have for cooking. But the best way to do it, of course, is to buy an induction pan. And all you have to do is just get a good magnet, test all the pans you have. You'll be surprised, some of them are magnetic and they will work on an induction stove. And if you go into the stores, sometimes pots and pans aren't that clearly labeled, so having a magnet with you is a good way to test them. So, happy trails, everyone. Keep on keeping on. See you on down the road. Bye-bye.